Have you ever met someone who radiates honesty? Someone whose words and actions align so perfectly that you instinctively trust them? In today's world, where manipulation and half-truths are everywhere, honesty is a rare and powerful trait. But what does it really mean to be honest? Is it just about telling the truth, or is there something deeper? The Stoics believe that honesty is not just about words, it is a way of life. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." True honesty requires courage, integrity, and self-discipline. So, how can you recognize an honest person? In this video, we'll explore 7 revealing traits that set truly honest individuals apart. If you value truth and integrity, this is for you. Let's begin. Trait number 1. They speak the truth even when it's hard. Have you ever been in a situation where telling the truth felt risky? Maybe you had to give a friend tough advice, admit a mistake at work, or stand up for what was right, knowing it might make people uncomfortable. Honest people don't just tell the truth when it's convenient, they tell it when it matters most. Even when the truth is difficult, they refuse to sugarcoat or manipulate reality. Their words are not aimed at pleasing others but at upholding integrity. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Stoicism teaches us that truth is not about personal gain but about living in alignment with virtue. Honesty requires courage because it often comes with resistance. But in the long run, speaking the truth builds respect, credibility, and self-respect. Imagine a workplace where an employee notices unethical practices. Most people might stay silent, fearing job loss or retaliation. But an honest person, guided by principle rather than fear, speaks up. At first, they may face criticism, but in the end, their integrity earns them respect and sometimes even inspires change. Or consider personal relationships. A true friend won't tell you what you want to hear, they'll tell you what you need to hear. If they see you making bad decisions, they won't stay silent just to keep the peace. Their honesty might sting at first, but their intentions are pure, they want the best for you. Dishonesty may offer short-term comfort, but it leads to long-term damage. Lies, even small ones, create distrust and weaken relationships. When someone always speaks the truth, people may not always like what they hear, but they will always know where they stand. Honesty is a test of character. Can you tell the truth even when it costs you something? Can you stand firm in your values when others take the easy way out? If so, you embody the Stoic principle of living with integrity. Let this be a reminder, truth may not always be easy, but it is always the right choice. Trait number 2. Their actions match their words. Have you ever met someone who says all the right things but never follows through? They promise to help but never show up. They talk about integrity but bend the rules when it benefits them. Words are easy, but true honesty is proven through action. Honest people don't just speak about their values, they live by them. When they say they will do something, they follow through. Their promises are not empty words but commitments they take seriously. This consistency builds trust and shows that their integrity is not just a performance but a way of life. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, taught that virtue is demonstrated through action, not just speech. A person who constantly talks about being honest, kind, or disciplined but doesn't act accordingly is fooling themselves and others. The Stoics believe that character is not what you say but what you do when no one is watching. Imagine a leader who preaches about fairness but gives special treatment to certain employees. Over time, their team loses respect for them because their words don't match their behavior. On the other hand, a leader who treats everyone with the same level of fairness and integrity gains lasting trust and admiration. The same applies to friendships and relationships. Have you ever had a friend who always says, "I'm here for you," but disappears when you need them? Compare that to someone who doesn't make grand statements but consistently shows up when it matters. Actions always speak louder than words. This principle also applies to self-discipline. Many people say they want to change, exercise more, learn a new skill, or be more patient, but only those who take consistent action actually grow. Words without action are just wishes. Living with integrity means ensuring that your actions align with your words, even when no one is watching. It means being the same person in public and in private. It means being reliable, trustworthy, and committed to what you stand for. So ask yourself, do my actions reflect my words? If not, it's time to bridge the gap and start living with true honesty. Because in the end, people may hear what you say, but they will always believe what you do. Trait number 3. They admit when they are wrong. Have you ever met someone who refuses to admit their mistakes, no matter how obvious they are? They make excuses, shift the blame, or even deny reality just to protect their ego. But an honest person does the opposite. They take responsibility for their actions, even when it's difficult. Admitting when you're wrong is not a sign of weakness. In fact, it's one of the greatest signs of strength. It shows humility, self-awareness, and integrity. A person who can acknowledge their mistakes earns the respect of others because they show that truth matters more to them than their pride. The Stoics believe that wisdom comes from recognizing our own flaws. Seneca once said, "To err is human, but to persist in error is diabolical." Making mistakes is natural, but refusing to correct them only makes things worse. True honesty requires looking inward, accepting our faults, and making an effort to improve. Think about a leader who makes a bad decision but refuses to acknowledge it. Instead of fixing the problem, they waste time defending their actions. This damages their credibility and trustworthiness. Now, imagine a different leader who openly admits their mistake, takes responsibility, and works on a solution. Which one earns more respect? The same applies to friendships and relationships. No one likes dealing with someone who always has an excuse for everything. When an honest person realizes they were wrong, they don't try to justify themselves, they apologize and make things right. This strengthens trust and deepens connections. Many people fear admitting mistakes because they think it makes them look weak. But the truth is, avoiding responsibility only makes things worse. When you own up to your faults, you not only earn respect but also free yourself from the burden of lies and excuses. So, ask yourself, when was the last time I admitted I was wrong? If you can acknowledge your mistakes and learn from them, you are living with true honesty. The Stoics teach us that self-improvement starts with self-awareness. Only those who admit their flaws can truly grow. Trait number 4. They do not manipulate others. Have you ever dealt with someone who always had a hidden agenda? Someone who twisted the truth, played mind games, or made you feel guilty just to get what they wanted? Manipulation is a tool of the dishonest. It relies on deception, emotional pressure, and half-truths. But an honest person refuses to manipulate others. They value integrity over control. True honesty means dealing with people in a straightforward and transparent way. Honest individuals don't use guilt, flattery, or deception to influence others. Instead, they rely on clear communication, respect, and truth. They believe that trust should be earned, not forced through manipulation. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." A person of integrity does not need to manipulate because their actions and words are aligned. The Stoics taught that power gained through deception is weak and temporary, but power built on trust is strong and lasting. Think about a manipulative boss who makes their employees feel guilty for setting boundaries. At first, they might get compliance, but over time, their team loses respect for them. Now, imagine a leader who treats their employees with fairness, gives clear expectations, and leads by example. That leader earns respect naturally, without resorting to mind games. This applies to relationships as well. Have you ever known someone who used emotional blackmail to control others? Maybe they threatened to leave if they didn't get their way, or they used guilt to make others feel responsible for their happiness. Honest people don't do this. Instead of manipulating emotions, they express their needs openly and allow others the freedom to choose how to respond. Many people manipulate because they fear losing control. They believe they must twist situations to get what they want. But the truth is, manipulation only creates resentment. A person who manipulates may get temporary obedience, but they will never earn genuine loyalty or love. If you want to live with true honesty, ask yourself, do I communicate openly, or do I use subtle pressure to get what I want? Honesty is about giving people the truth and trusting them to make their own decisions. True strength comes from transparency, not control. The Stoics teach us that a life built on manipulation is a life filled with fear and insecurity. But a life built on honesty and trust creates freedom and respect. The choice is yours. Trait number 5. They are consistent in all situations. Have you ever met someone who acts differently depending on who they are with? They say one thing but do another, changing their personality to fit the moment. This kind of inconsistency makes it hard to trust them because you never know what they truly stand for. Honest people, on the other hand, remain the same no matter the situation. Their words, actions, and values stay consistent whether they are at work, with family, or among strangers. You don't have to guess who they really are because their character is stable. The Stoics believe that true integrity is not something that changes based on convenience. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." If you want to be respected, your values must be unwavering, not something you adjust when it benefits you. Imagine a friend who always preaches about loyalty but immediately gossips about you when you're not around. Or a boss who claims to value fairness but plays favorites. Over time, people stop believing their words because their actions contradict them. Compare that to someone who treats everyone with respect, whether they are speaking to the CEO or a janitor. That kind of consistency builds trust and admiration. Being consistent also applies to self-discipline. Many people set goals but abandon them the moment things get tough. They say they want to be healthier, but after one setback, they give up. Honest individuals stay committed to their principles, even when no one is watching. Their discipline is not dependent on mood or convenience, it is a core part of who they are. The truth is, people respect those who are predictable in their honesty. If someone is kind, fair, and truthful in all situations, you know you can trust them. But if their character shifts depending on who they are with, they are unreliable. Ask yourself, do I stay true to my values, even when no one is watching? Do I treat people the same, regardless of status? If the answer is yes, then you are practicing the Stoic virtue of consistency. And that, more than anything, is a sign of true honesty. Trait number 6. They accept the consequences of honesty. Being honest isn't always easy. Sometimes, telling the truth comes with consequences: losing friendships, upsetting others, or even facing rejection. That's why many people choose to lie, exaggerate, or stay silent to avoid conflict. But truly honest people accept whatever comes with speaking the truth. Honesty requires courage. It means standing by your words even when they make others uncomfortable. It means telling a friend a hard truth instead of comforting them with a lie. It means refusing to cheat or deceive, even if it costs you an opportunity. The Stoics believe that external consequences don't matter as much as inner integrity. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." A person who values honesty over convenience chooses what is right, not what is easy. Imagine a workplace where corruption is common. Many employees look the other way to protect their jobs. But an honest person speaks up, knowing they could face retaliation. They don't do it for personal gain, but because they refuse to be part of deception. Even if they lose their job, they gain something more valuable: the ability to live without guilt. Honest people also accept that not everyone will like them. Some people get offended when confronted with the truth. But an honest person doesn't shape their words to gain approval. They speak with kindness, but they do not compromise their values just to be accepted. In relationships, honesty sometimes means difficult conversations. Instead of avoiding the truth to keep the peace, honest people address problems directly. This may lead to arguments, but in the long run, it builds trust. A relationship based on truth is far stronger than one built on false comfort. Honesty can come at a price, but the alternative, living with lies, guilt, and regret, is far worse. The Stoics teach us that integrity is priceless. Even if honesty leads to difficulties, it brings something much greater: self-respect and inner peace. So ask yourself, do I tell the truth even when it's hard? Do I accept the consequences of my honesty, or do I change my words to avoid discomfort? If you choose honesty despite the risks, you embody one of the most powerful Stoic virtues: moral courage. Trait number 7. They have inner peace. Have you ever met someone who remains calm no matter what happens? They don't get easily offended, they don't panic under pressure, and they don't feel the need to prove themselves to others. This is the mark of a truly honest person, someone who has inner peace. Honest people have nothing to hide. They don't spend energy maintaining lies or pretending to be someone they are not. This gives them a deep sense of freedom. When you live truthfully, you don't have to worry about being exposed, and you don't waste time trying to manipulate others' opinions. You are at peace because you know that who you are is enough. The Stoics believe that true peace comes from within. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This means that external chaos does not disturb an honest person because their peace does not depend on outside circumstances. Imagine two people facing the same difficult situation. Perhaps a false rumor is spreading about them. One person panics, desperately trying to correct every lie, arguing with people, and feeling stressed. The other person, an honest individual, remains calm. They know the truth, and that is enough for them. They don't need to fight for approval because they are secure in who they are. Honest people also let go of guilt and regret. Many people carry the heavy burden of past mistakes, but when you live truthfully, you free yourself from this weight. You don't need to remember lies or fear being discovered. You simply live in alignment with your values, and that brings peace. In relationships, this kind of honesty creates trust. When people know you are truthful, they feel safe around you. They don't have to guess your intentions or worry about hidden agendas. Your honesty brings peace not only to yourself but also to those around you. Ask yourself, do I feel at peace with the way I live? Do I carry the stress of deception, or do I live openly and honestly? If you choose truth, you choose peace. And that is one of the greatest rewards of honesty. Conclusion. Honesty is more than just telling the truth, it is a way of life. It is about having integrity, standing by your values, and treating others with fairness and respect. The 7 traits we discussed are not just signs of an honest person, they are the foundation of a strong, trustworthy, and peaceful life. But honesty is not always easy. It requires courage to speak the truth when it is uncomfortable, discipline to ensure your actions match your words, and strength to accept the consequences that come with being truthful. Many people avoid honesty because they fear rejection, conflict, or loss. But what they don't realize is that dishonesty creates an even greater burden, one of guilt, regret, and insecurity. The Stoics believed that living in truth is the only way to achieve true freedom. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca all taught that external rewards, money, status, and approval, are temporary. What truly matters is inner character. And nothing builds character more than honesty. Imagine the kind of life you want to live. Do you want to constantly worry about being caught in a lie? Do you want to feel the pressure of pretending to be someone you're not? Or do you want to wake up every day with a clear mind, knowing you have nothing to hide and no one to deceive? Honesty gives you that freedom. It strengthens your relationships, builds your reputation, and, most importantly, gives you peace of mind. People may not always like what you have to say, but they will always respect you for your sincerity. So, ask yourself, which of these 7 traits do I already have? Which ones do I need to improve? Honesty is not something you are born with, it is something you practice every day. The more you commit to it, the stronger and more confident you become. Live truthfully, and you will never have to fear being exposed. Walk with integrity, and you will never have to chase respect, it will come to you naturally. Choose honesty, and you will find that the greatest reward is not the approval of others, but the peace within yourself. Now, it's time for action. Which of these lessons will you apply today?